Hello, hello. Okay. So you guys can hear me now? All right, good. All right, so that just confirms why this needed to be happening. So, okay. I just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Oh. All right, so what I was saying in the first video where no one can hear me is that I felt like I said I wasn't qualified to have this my mustard seed talk. And I was kind of going back and forth with it because I was like, I don't think so. But then now, anytime there's a lot of distraction, I'm more than confident that I was supposed to deliver it. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay. So if you guys can hear me, just put in the comments that you guys can hear me so I can go forward with it. Okay. So I'm going to go forward with it. And hopefully you guys can hear me. So my mustard seed is a couple of things that have really, really brought me down. Alcohol was Mount Fuji in my life. Okay, that's not a secret. Have I always hid it? Have I always hide it? Have I always avoided it? Have I always not want to talk about it? Hell yeah! I never wanted to admit that alcohol was a big factor in my life because I felt like I handled it. I felt like as long as I was working, I was going to school, I was graduating, um, I was still paying my bills, I didn't see a problem. And that was the biggest lie I was able to convince myself. Man, I convinced myself what a great liar I was by saying that I didn't need help. And that was a lie. So the my mustard seed, and the reason why I call it my mustard seed is because you only need a little bit of belief. You just need a little bit of faith, and the rest is up to you. Like, I'm almost convinced that everything that we ask for is already in us. I don't know. I have this crazy idea that everything that we're supposed to ask for is already in us. We just need to, like, request it. So how I started running, well, let me go back. My prayer has always been, I really want to stop drinking, but I never believed it. Just a little bit. I only believed it just a little bit. And so I was like, man, I remember was like, man, just in case this is possible, I really do want to stop drinking. But you have to understand, I said that prayer like with like I don't know. I don't believe so. Um, just want to make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, you guys can hear me. So here's the thing, right? I prayed to stop drinking. Now, what I learned and what you guys have seen, because I've been so transparent about my life, is how much I have worked towards it. And that's the thing that I've learned is that, okay, I prayed for it, but then I don't do this. I go out there. So I'm almost convinced that you have to go halfway at least. So Here's how I stopped drinking, which is the most remarkable, smartest thing that I've never thought of in my life. So what my prayer was, I want to stop drinking. Okay. So back in November, um, someone really pissed me off. A family member pissed me off. And what that did was that made me sign up for High Rocks. That was my first competition that I did by myself with my brother and Ryan. Was my first competition was it January, right? And I totally sucked at it. Oh my god, I whooped my own butt. In fact, if I didn't invite my family and friends there, I would have been like, psh, bye, because it whooped my butt. So so when I signed up for that competition, right, back in December, I had ordered this. I had ordered this sled. All right. This sled was like one of the events that was there was sledding. I was like, oh, I never sledded before. I'm gonna buy a sled and I'm gonna clean the basement and I'm gonna like start working out with the sled. Okay. I'm gonna let you know to this day I have never used that sled. But this is how great, like, this is how small you need a little bit of faith. You don't need to have everything figured out. And that was my mistake. My mistake was trying to figure everything out by myself. And that's not how it works. If you can figure everything out by yourself, you don't need faith. It's like, nah, I don't need you. I got this. But every time you try to do everything by yourself, you are wiped. You're mentally wiped. Have you ever had anxiety your whole entire day, and by the end of the day, you're physically exhausted and you did absolutely nothing? You didn't go to the gym, you didn't go running, you didn't go hiking. All you did was have anxiety and it whooped your butt. Have you ever had that? Yeah, I can relate. It's because you're not supposed to do it all by yourself. You're not supposed to figure it out. And that was my mistake. My mistake was I got to figure it out. Why? Because if you can have control of something, then that means you've convinced yourself that you will feel comfortable knowing that you have control of something. But that's not your job. Your job is not to have control of everything. Your job is to let go. Have you heard that phrase, let go, let God? Yeah, there's some truth behind that. So I bought that sled and I competed. I got my butt whooped. But one thing I did not know is I wasn't prepared for the running part. And during that time, my knee had locked up. Now, originally, when my knee had locked up when I did 10K last year, I stopped running. I was like, no more running for me. Nope. My knee, guys, my knee. But what that competition taught me is that I was able to run after my knee locked up 4 times. So it got me thinking. I was like, nothing happened to my knee. Nothing happened to me. I've only convinced myself that I could not do nothing because my body part acted a certain way. So cease mission. No. Thankfully that my knee locked, well, not thankfully, but my knee locking up in the first 5 minutes of the competition showed me that I was able to finish through. Because if it had happened towards the end of the competition, I would be like, oh, no more running. But the competition had just started, and I was like, no way, I'm not quitting. I trained too hard for this, so I kept running. And during that, it showed me what I was capable of. I'm like, okay, so my knee locked, so I can still run. So that's what was the purpose of the competition, because I did terrible on that. But it showed me that I was able to do something, even though I had already told myself before I couldn't do it. So now I was like, okay, I can run, even if my knee locks up. First stage. Like I said, you only need a mustard seed. This was my mustard seed. So here I am. I'm still drinking. I'm still partying. Yeah. The second thing was that I started, I bought that sled. I never used it. Okay. And what happened was I had I had started saying these prayers back in July of 2019. One day I had this strong heart, and it was repeating in my head over and over again, say this prayer, say this prayer. And I wasn't going to church. I wasn't doing nothing. In fact, I was kind of like hungover most of the time. But this was my prayer. All right. It said, Lord, hold my hand and guide me to complete your purpose. Didn't know what I was talking about. Only you know the conversations that are being held behind closed doors. Still, have no idea why I'm saying these things. Have no idea why I have a desire to say these things. Only you know my destiny. And here I am thinking that was already in my destiny. Here I am thinking that, oh, hey, I'm good. I already lost 100 pounds. Like, I got friends. I got family here. No, no, no. Just because things are good doesn't mean it's your purpose. It just looks good. So then I had the desire to start saying this prayer for some whatever reason. Whatever reason I had, I started saying this prayer back in July 2018. And every morning when I woke up, hungover or not, I had this need to say this prayer. So I said it. Then things just started falling apart. And I'm not gonna lie, I've repented since then. But I ain't gonna lie, I was like, why are you doing this to me? Man, leave me alone. I did. I've repented since then. And one thing that I have learned, a valuable lesson, is that discernment is not punishment. Discernment is protection. And I learned that as I see how everything unfolds now. My anxiety is at its greatest peace ever. And here I am getting mad like, why don't you just leave me alone? I'm only being honest because when there's conflict, when there's what you want to do and what your purpose is trying to do, there will be conflict. You can't sleep. Your conscience is destroyed. Not your conscience, your mind is destroyed, your spirit is destroyed, your heart is, you're just like, why is this? Why am I feeling like this? And you can't even ignore it because it's in your face. Crazy. But now I see why. So I started saying that prayer, and everything just started unfolding. It's like the back to back to back to back disappointments is the reason why I was like, I'm done being disappointed. I'm done. And I was so hurt from all the disappointments that I was like, I'm done. And that I was trying to almost drink myself to wash away the pain, and the alcohol wasn't working fast enough. I drank a whole bottle, and it was not working fast enough, to the point where I was trying to, no, I did almost harm myself because nothing was taking the pain away, because it was all the disappointments. And I kind of was like, this is it. This is why I'm very careful. I don't say like this is God's plan or this everything happens for a reason. Ever since I left the psych ward, I'm very careful of saying that, because to me, I don't think this was the plan. You have to be very careful of saying this is the plan when emotionally I'm destroyed, because it could cause almost trust issues. And though I know that is done and said with good intentions, you can't tell someone how to feel when they are going through so much. It's almost like the best thing you can do is just become the best listener in the world. And now it's like, and just remind them that you have their back, whatever that means. But becoming the best listener was the only thing that I needed. I didn't need anything else because I didn't understand anything that was going on. I had so many questions, and it was like I want to trust you, but like, what's going on? I already have a very trusty personality, which I kind of hate and I kind of love. So there's already conflict, but I love the fact that I do want to be able to trust you. But at the same time, I know how much it backfires. So when all that started on, everything started unfolding, I got out of the psych ward, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And then when a non-believer, when someone that doesn't really know what's going on says, this is the prayer that you prayed. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Well, why am I saying these prayers for? The thing is, you're never going to know everything up front. You're never going to know. If I knew what I knew now, I would have saved all my tears. But here's the thing. You have to finish going through. And that's the part that no one wants to do. They go back to what's comfortable. They go back to the bottle. They go back to the relationship. They go back to the dysfunction because it's comfortable. It's something that we already are familiar with. And me wanting to stop drinking, what do you mean? You want me to feel? Like, no, I haven't felt feelings in over 15 years because I knew exactly what took the feelings away. So when people say, like, I want to drink, I understand. But you're never going to finish going through because you have to be allowed to feel your feelings. It's okay to have feelings because that's what they're there for. It's just now I stop running to something that's comfortable because I want to finish going through. I was listening to this one YouTube video. This guy was like, pain is kind of like a dislocated thumb, like a dislocated joint. Like, oh shoot, like I dislocated it. Yeah, it hurt. But what's more painful is putting it back into socket and letting it heal. I know because I dislocated my thumb and it didn't hurt when I dislocated it. It was extremely painful when it went back into the joint. And now look at that. But can you imagine if I didn't let it heal properly? I would have like a little weird thumb right now. So back to still giving up alcohol. This is me still praying that I gave up alcohol and then I end up psych ward for alcohol abuse. And yet, all I need is a mustard seed. So I said this prayer well over a year ago. And here I am. I have it documented, alcohol abuse and PTSD and here I am like, oh, my prayer's not being answered because I just went to the psych ward and for alcohol abuse. That's not how it works. My prayers are being answered. I just look at it from a different view because it's like, well, this is not my plan. It's not supposed to. Your plan is terrible. Okay? But the thing is, like, we always have this idea like, well, you did it wrong. I'm gonna do it better. Trust me, I said I that was the dumbest thing I can say to people. No, or think. So as of January 3rd, I felt it to change my prayer. It was this prayer now. I was like, all right, show me my journey, my destiny. Make my gift more clear. And then what happened after I said this prayer? The most greatest thing in the world happened. This happened. Not right away, but Iron Therapy 2.0 was birthed. So, literally the next day. It didn't look like that. But as time went on, and the more I seek, and the more I'm looking for answers, the more that the answers are coming to me. Because I'm looking for answers. Now I don't rely on like, oh, what? Let's see how great I am. What did I come up with? No, I don't. No. So now look at. So, and here I am. I'm still drinking, right? This gym just suddenly birthed out of the blue. These ideas that I did not come up is the most greatest thing in the world. And I'm like, man, this is great. And I say these prayers every single day. I have a new prayer now that every morning I say. And every time I feel like it needs to change, I write it down. Because you just need a little bit. You just need a little bit. You don't need to be fancy. You just need to be genuine. You just need to be authentic. That's all. This has to be real. Like, Your heart is the answer. I don't really care what's on social media. I don't really care what comes out of your mouth. Your heart has all the answers. All the answers. So on February 15th, I had this strong desire to start running. And what happened? My mind got in the way. Oh, my knee. Oh, it's cold. All this. And so what happens is there's conflict. Okay? So my mind is saying, hey, oh shoot. My mind is saying, um, hey, you have all these issues, but my heart's saying you need to start running. So there's conflict. And what happens when you're entertaining conflict? I personally get anxiety. So now I'm aware anytime I have anxiety, I'm missing something. To me, I'm able to identify that now because I'm very aware of my feelings because I don't run away from my feelings no more. So I started running 3 miles. Did my knee lock? Yep. I started running again, another 3 miles. Suddenly, a friend hit me up, was like, hey, when do you run? I go, I don't know, I just run, all of a sudden. And I swear to God, well, I promise you, God gave me the most greatest running buddy in the world. We have the same pace. We we like we encourage each other somehow in our own weird way because it's like we're able to identify our weaknesses by each other's strength. Like physically, she can run. Physically, it's my weakness. Mentally, oh, I can run. Mentally is her weakness. So we're able to very balance each other out and just run. And I remember one time when I was reaching my first 8 miles, I was like, oh, I'm done. And she's like, you ready? And I was like, what? So everything almost worked out perfectly for this run. And now, because I have such a strong desire to run, I know what causes my knee to lock up. Because I started YouTubing, I started Googling, I started listening to other runners. Alcohol causes your knees to lock up because alcohol has a lot of inflammation. And because I want to run so bad, I gave up alcohol. And then what happened in February, as soon as I started this strong desire to run, I got selected to do the New York City Marathon, which is only 2.2% out of the whole world that gets to get selected. And here I am, just out of the blue, just signed up one day, and I got selected to do the New York City Marathon. I was like, what the heck? I'm not even qualified. So because I got selected for the marathon, I started running, and I want to run, and I know my legs are my weakest part of my body, and I know how often my knee locks up. I'm okay with giving up alcohol. So it doesn't fall on your lap. Like, you have to put 50% in. At least. You know what? Maybe 20%. Maybe the other percent is probably way more than I think. I have no idea, but you have to do your part. All you need is a mustard seed. All you need is just a little bit, but you have to put in work. I think that the fact that I'm able to run with two meniscus tears, a deteriorating ACL, arthritis, I think it's a miracle that I'm able to run. A miracle. That's why I'm very careful who I surround myself around because mentally, I'm still like, hey, your knee. So I'm very careful who I have conversations with because it's very easy to fall back in the trap of fear because a lot of people tell me why they can't do something. I'm not there no more. I've graduated from the Can't University. I'm in the Can University now. So now I can't be surrounded by can't people. Not that I think I'm all that. It's just now I have to remember what I can do. I'm doing miracle stuff. My ortho is very impressed. She's like, keep doing what you're doing. I don't want to stop you. So I gave up alcohol because I want to run this marathon so bad. So now I went from being able to do only 0.5 miles with my feet burning, my knee hurting, my back hurting, to just recently, I just did 15.5 miles the other day. The biggest PR I ever did. Do my legs hurt? Oh yeah, they're sore. But guess what? I did it. I don't care about the time right now. I did it. I did something that people said I can't do. And it's so exciting for me because now I know that my prayers have been answered just by a little bit. But I got to put in the work. You got to put in the work though. You just can't sit on your sofa. If you say, hey, you know what? I want to do this. You can. It's already in you. That's why you're asking. It just has to come out of you. If you're like, I want to do this, there's a reason why you're asking. There's a reason why you're desiring because it's already in you. You just got to do it. That's it. I, that's all. That's why I say, look, I don't think I'm qualified, but I've had some pretty big uh, 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 mountains moved in my life. Recently, I've had this strong desire to bike ride, and I don't know why. So guess what I did? I bought a bike. I love that bike. Yeah, my butt hurts, but I love that bike. I got it for so cheap, and it's just there's a reason for me to bike ride. I don't know yet. I don't question no more. If I feel it in my heart, I stop I stop allowing this to be in conflict with this. Because this is always dwelling on, are you sure? What, you want to do this? Nope. I don't allow this to interfere with this no more. If this is in here, all right, let's go. You gonna make it a bike? All right, let's go. I know there's a reason, I just don't know the reason yet. And I'm pretty sure it has to do with my run. I'll find out one day. But I don't care for the answer. The thing is, like, too many people want answers right now. I want answers right now. You're not going to find the answer. Just let it go. And the thing is, like, the more you let go, the more you let go of this, and the more you trust with this, it's easier. Oh, it gets a lot easier. I wish I wasn't so hard-headed and wasted so many years, but then now I understand the value of something. I'm not in conflict going back and forth. I'm like, nope, I don't waste my time. Because as soon as you tap into purpose, you're going to be so happy and so peaceful. And the anxiety that takes over your whole body and your mind, you could just let go. It's not worth it. It's not worth trying to figure it all out. You know what it's like when something takes over your mind and it's going 1,000 miles per hour that you really just want to take a gun and blow your brains out? That's the worst feeling in the world. You have no control over it. I pray that you just find peace and that you don't have to find answers, but that you work towards that desire to say, do this, and you just start doing it and stop letting this interfere with what's right here because it's already in you. So hopefully this has blessed you. Um, I'm not an expert. Steve Harvey said the other day, he goes like, I'm a 2 in the Christian world. And I was like, man, if you're a 2, like I'm a 1. I'm a barely 1. But I love believing. I love having faith. I love just like listening. The fact that I don't have to like try to figure it out, just become a better listener. Man, does does conflict get in the way? All the time. Does impatience try knocking on the door? Oh yeah. It, uh-huh. All the time. Sometimes that's why you have to be surrounded by the right people so they can remind you. Easy, Tiger. You're still on the right path. You're right. Thank you. It's important to surround yourself by can people and start letting go of can't people. So, thank you and have a good night.